So yeah, after you talk to these people, not that I've talked to a lot of them, but I've encountered them through some stuff, through Real Man. Okay, Real Man's an example of a guy that I first met who really, most of his videos in the beginning when I first met him was bashing Obama. So, you know, I sort of thought to myself, yeah, he's probably a racist. And I did make the mistake of calling him that once when a clone channel that I mistook for being him made a racist slur. In this case, it was a racist slur. It was towards the black community, and I really regret that, because from what I've seen, Real Man is really taken on some of these white pride people. You know, and then some of the argument is that, oh, campuses have Chicano clubs and you know, African American clubs, but they won't allow a white club on campus. Well, see, the flaw in that is that when you say white, that carries a stigma, and it is a code word. But I am sure if you wanted to start an Anglo club or a you know, like, or a people that are proud of their ancestry, like, you know, an English club or an Italian club or a Swiss club or a Swedish club, that's perfectly all right. That's fine. A German club, I could not see, and I'm sure the ACLU would step in and say, look, you have to let these Germans, these people of German ancestry, have a club, as long as they're not like goose stepping or something. I love the Germans. Yeah, they had that little mistake, but it could have happened anywhere. That fascism almost took root in the United States right around the Depression era, because Americans were so desperate. And there were a lot of lefties and, you know, and so-called communists. Pete Seeger was labeled a communist, but actually I like all those guys. Arlo, Woody Guthrie and Pete Seeger, they're my heroes. And if this country would have gone a little bit more leftist, even more than what FDR took us, I think we'd be better off, honestly. Yeah, here's where Al Brookman chimes in. Yeah, you dirty commie. Hence wearing the shirt with Lenin on it, huh? But those guys were all peace-loving, you know. It's the right wing that was getting a toehold in this country at that point. They were the ones that were violent, and then I'm sure there was anarchists that were set bombs off, and the anarchists are going to get mad at me. But hey, it was labeled anarchists, so I don't know. It gave anarchy a bad name. Let's just put it that way. Whether the media was telling the truth or not, I don't know. You look at pretty much what was written about it. You know, the same stuff like the Lindbergh baby. Nothing's really new as far as the media getting stuff hyped up and wrong. Remember the Maine? So, but getting back to the bigotry on YouTube. So, you know, and you can kind of smell it. And then the more you read their comments, the more they rant. It'll come out. I had this one gentleman that was, he started out a gentleman. He was quite civil, and then he said something about Obongo or Obonga or Obongo. I asked him, what is that? Of course, I knew where he was coming with that. So, and then he went off on this thing about the Jews taking over the planet. Hey, I cannot, you know, the bigotry towards the Jews, that really bothers me. I like Jews. I love them. In fact, I kind of look Jewish, don't I? As far as I know, I'm not, okay? Protestant going way, way back on my father's side. So anyway, you know, and then other people will say, I've seen this written in the comments, oh, it's a perfectly natural thing, you know, bigotry, because it goes back to our, you know, ancestors as living as tribes. If you were approached by somebody you wouldn't know, you should be very, very careful. In fact, you know, be afraid. And it's natural for humans to be wary, if not completely fearful, of things that are strange to us, that are new to us, and getting and towards other humans we have never encountered before. humans that seem different than us. Now, you could even have a situation where they're all of one color and they might look very, very similar, but their traditions might be different, and that would be enough to cause a rift. Look at the Arabs and the Jews that are now living in the Middle East. They look alike. They're pretty much blood brothers, except for their religious beliefs that separate them. And then when you go to like somebody that looks different from you, and which was easy to do during World War II, is to dehumanize the enemy. And the Japanese was especially easy to dehumanize because they were so much different than we are, the way they look and culturally. Whereas dehumanizing the Germans and the Italians wasn't quite as easy because we share common European, roots, That's why America, the United States, Canada, Mexico, it's all called the New World, Anyway, our language and culture all came from over there. Do I need to explain that? But this notion of our natural tendency to be bigots. Look, humans are born with lots of natural tendencies. But as we become civilized, we learn to control those tendencies. I mean, face it. I mean, we are all born with the natural tendency to defecate and urinate spontaneously. Whenever we need to go, we're just going to go. And then we're trained not to, because of civilization. We're trained to hold it in. We're trained to wait till we get to a toilet, or a proper, a place that we can do our business. So that business of just like, oh yeah, just let every impulse, or, it's all okay. That's nonsense.